going to start the program off this morning by asking a gentleman who I've had the pleasure of visiting with for a little bit this morning, just getting to know him for the first time this morning, to lead us in prayer. Let's ask up to the microphone Roland Daniels from the Catalyst Church in Pendleton.
Thanks, Brent. Appreciate it. Friends, thank you so much really for the opportunity to come here today. I've been to many of these, not here, but many of them at the casino and different places. But this is a wonderful venue, isn't it? Just fabulous. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. I also want to thank you for what you do, because you're a plumb line for the health of this community. And in a financial sense, we are dependent on you. Honestly, the health and welfare of this community depends on you, so much more than some people will ever recognize or even realize in some sense. But I want to share one other thing with you. You're a plumb line also for character and kindness. And kindness has this incredible capacity to bring out generosity in other people, and it's a multiplier. And that's what I hope we realize, and that you will become literally multiplication stations of kindness and generosity, because I promise you this, we're not only better financially when you're good at that, we're better financially and we're better with character and kindness when you become that kind of place. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for the difference you make. Let's pray together, shall we? Father, we are grateful indeed for the blessings that you've given us. I thank you for all of these people. I thank you for the hard work. I thank you that every day they roll up their sleeves and they go to work, Lord, to make a difference in this community. And we pray, Lord, we really do. We ask your blessings over them and their businesses. We ask that you would multiply their efforts, God, so that in our community, goodness could happen because of their efforts. We understand, God, that you don't bless us just for us, but you bless us so that we can bless other people. And so we just pray, God, we pray that as we look around these tables, we would pray for each other. Certainly in some senses of the word, they may be competition, but Lord, in the truth, we all grow when we all do well. And so we ask your blessings on that. Father, I also pray for your favor and protection to be over every family represented in this place. We know that with business comes tensions and angst, and sometimes those can trickle down into the family, into the house, into the home. And we would just ask, oh God, that the very peace of Christ would rest on every home in this place, and that they would have a deep sense, God, of your arms surrounding them and holding them. Now, Father, we thank you again for this day, for food to eat. We are mindful that probably within a certain distance from this building, there are people this morning that woke up with no food. And so, God, thank you. Thank you for the blessings of food to eat and the sustenance it provides. Now, you bless the remainder of our day, and may we, Lord, understand that we are your vessels sent here to make a difference for the cause of you. We love you. Amen.
Next up for our pledge, I would like to call a young lady from Valley Grove Elementary School and the Excel Center, Amara Taylor, if you would please make your way up to lead us in the pledge today. Thank you. Also noted that the sheriff is in our presence this morning, Sheriff Scott Mellinger, who deserves congratulations for being the recipient of the Robert Shoemaker Community Image Award from Rotary this past week. Sheriff, congratulations. Next, I'd like to call to the microphone a gentleman who does a great job of delivering chamber news to you. We're talking about the president and CEO of your Madison County Chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dirk Webb.
Good morning. How about let's hear it for that young lady? That's not an easy thing to do. I know you all, you can be pretty scary, and to be able to get up at this hour and face you all and do that, very well done, young lady, very well done. On behalf of all the chamber, we welcome you here. I'd like to introduce you. We've got a few board members here this morning. Would the board members please stand? We've got Nick, Mike, Sally, and Bev. Thank you for coming this morning. Our chamber staff, my bosses, in other words, Carlene, Randy, Patty back in the back. Thank you for all you do. And how many are chamber ambassadors? If you are this morning, stand up. Very good. Thank you. And if you'd like to be, please let us know. We'll find a way to plug you in. Trust me. We appreciate Ivy Tech for all they did for us in the last 2 wake-ups. Come back here to St. Vincent Anderson, and we're pleased to be back. Thanks for all that your staff has done. Mike, Marlene, who am I missing? Rita. Yes, Rita. There. All right, so we remind you that September 20th, then, Kristen Cooper from Startup Ladies is going to be here. Her topic is how will we identify, educate, and fund the next wave of entrepreneurs starting scalable companies in Anderson. Pretty long title, but it should be. It's going to be a dynamite talk that day. And then finally, November 15th, Dr. Gary Bertolini, How to Survive the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Technology Game Changers. So we're looking forward to having him with us. The rest of our events are there at your table. You should have had those. Some of the far tables may not. We'll make sure that you get some of those. Our good friend Matt Rust couldn't be here this morning, and he asked me to tell you that the summer edition of Discover Magazine will be out next week, and it will be available in various locations across Anderson and Madison County. I have this image of Steve Martin and the new phone book coming out. Any of you? Oh, okay. All right, here are a couple of things to think about. June 26th in Lapel, Power Up. Yesterday we had Power Up at the atrium in the Union Building and had a wonderful turnout. We had a great time. Come to those. Just a stack of business cards, no agenda, no speaker, just meet each other, find out who does what. Fill your Rolodex up with the people who do business in this area. And in August, we're going to take that thing on the road and we're going to go to Chesterfield and visit at the Mill Creek Center there. So come and be a part of that. September 13th, the Chamber Annual Luncheon will be at Hoosier Park. There are sponsorships available for that. On most of the tables, that information is there. If you'd like to sponsor that event, there are sponsorships as low as $250. So be a part of that. If your company has a milestone this year, I know that the Anderson Herald Bulletin is celebrating the ripe old age of 150. And so we're going to honor them. There's a few other companies. I know Hudson Printing is 100, Cooper Insurance and Lapel is 100. We've got some great milestones coming up, so we're going to honor those folks as well. But if you have a milestone, get in touch with our office and let us know. Registration for that event, the luncheon, will open on Monday. So getlinkedmadison.com or talk to Patty. Patty's our event guru. Finally, we want to be very thankful and appreciative of some of the new members who not only have joined, but have allowed us to come and do some ribbon cuttings. Storage of America. If you have walked through that place, amazing, almost 250,000 square feet in storage area. The Indiana Financial Group, Rush Staffing, Adept Accounting. Adept Accounting, I know you're here, I saw you.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Applied Therapy and Behavior, and Healing Hands. We've had some great times in conjunction with the mayor's office. We've made a mess of some ribbon all over town. So, finally, I want to invite a buddy of ours, Kim Williams, up, and we're going to talk a little bit about golf one more time because it's coming quickly. July 13th at the Anderson Country Club, the Madison County Chamber United Way Golf Outing or the United Way Madison County Chamber Golf Outing, whichever way you want to look at it.
That's right.
What do you have to say about it?
We have lots of team spots still available, and we have sponsorships still available for the event. This is one of the biggest golf events in the county, so this is certainly something that, as a business, it's great for you to be out there. We have a morning flight available, we have an afternoon flight available, and if you're not a golfer, there are still lots of ways for you to be involved. We need volunteers. We have this amazing 50-50 ball drop that happens in the middle of the day over lunch, where we get the Anderson Fire Department comes out there and drops hundreds of balls, and whichever one goes in the bottom of the hole first walks away with a big chunk of cash. I think last year was almost $1,500, so that's a fun thing. You can come out just for lunch for the ball drop. You can be a volunteer, or you can put a team or a sponsorship in. So I will be over here at the end of Wake Up this morning, and you can get ball drop tickets. You can find out more about what sponsorships are available. You can sign up to be a volunteer, anything you want to do. And it's great because it benefits both organizations. So this is a way that you can really have an impact in two big ways in the community. So if anybody's been out there, who's been at the golf outing before? I think most people. See, you got to be there. What do you want to add?
No, that's good. That's good.
All right.
You did a great job.
All right.
Thank you. Want to say a congratulations to Nancy Anderson up here. I volunteered at their golf outing on Friday and got to drive the golf cart all day. On a hot day, that's the way to do it. And you raised a lot of money for your event, and congratulations to you for I'm sorry? $82,000. Well done. Well done. Well done. Great. The remarks I want to leave you with just briefly are, I had my 40th high school class reunion on June 9th. I don't look old enough to have done anything for 40 years, right? But 40th class reunion. The first thing I got hit with by some classmates who did not live in town was, "It's sad." I said, "Beg your pardon?" They said, "It's sad that all these things have happened to Anderson." Well, you don't tell a chamber guy that things are sad, because they're not. And all evening long, I spent some time talking to my classmates about all the good things that are happening here, all the great things that are happening here. Your businesses, the stories you tell, the things you do that make this community great. And as I did, I invited and even challenged those classmates to get on the chamber website, to get on the chamber Facebook page. Look at the things we're posting. Some of you know I've popped up at your businesses with a camera in hand, ready to talk about your business and put that on Facebook. Glad to do that. I've had 2 classmates respond and say, that don't live here. One lives in Tennessee, one lives in Ohio, to say, how can we help? So we'll like the chamber page, spread the news to the classmates and to your own communities that Anderson is not only alive and well, but it's doing remarkable things here. And they've come back to me and said, we want to do more than that. We'd like to come back to town and meet with people and just see what's happening. And I think that's fabulous that our own expats, if you will, are seeing the difference that's being made. And my congratulations to all of you for all that you do for our community. Thank you. My message to them has been, you should be proud of your hometown. We're doing great things here. Thank you. Brett.
Talk about a good ambassador for the chamber. Indeed. You know, Mike Schroyer's coming up next, but before we bring him up, a couple of things to recognize. And Dirk appears on the radio all the time. He's around the community, and you just never know where he's going to pop up. So you can't ask for a better CEO than somebody who's willing to get down in the trenches and do what he does. So Dirk, thank you. And one more thing I might add, I talk to the staff all the time who talks about how great he is to work with and work for. So I wanted to make sure that we recognize that. Thank you. table sponsors this morning. Of course, we'd like to thank St. Vincent Anderson Regional Hospital for being a table sponsor this morning. We have a special table over here that you might want to visit that does a lot of great things for Madison County. They're recognized at Christmas time, but they work all year round on it. That's Secret Families of Madison County. I've had the opportunity to get to know more about their mission. And if you don't know about their mission in great detail, make sure that you educate yourself this morning. As I said, Mike Schroyer is coming up next. He's the president of St. Vincent Anderson Regional Hospital, and he has the distinct pleasure of introducing our speaker to you this morning. So, Mike Schroyer, if you will, please. Welcome him.
So, good morning. Glad all of you are here this morning. Everyone get enough to eat. As usual, I've heard a lot about our bacon this morning. I'm not sure that's the thing that we want to be well known for, being a healthcare facility, but it's job security, I guess. And there's plenty more over there, so help yourself. I just want to, before I introduce Kristen, I want to also thank our wonderful health food service team. They always do such a wonderful job, and the food is always great. So I want to thank them for what they do. So glad all of you are here on a June morning. We're finally getting some much needed rain, and it's cooled off a little bit. So very blessed to have that. Yeah, it's my pleasure to introduce somebody who is on our team, and she exemplifies what we do and our commitment to this community. Make sure that we help take care of this community now and for the many, many years to come. And our commitment is there, and it continues to go forward. So Kristen Tomich is a corporate health consultant for the St. Vincent Wellness Works program. She is the liaison between the employers of Madison County and the surrounding areas and St. Vincent Anderson. Kristen graduated from Indiana University with a bachelor's degree in health, recreation, and physical education with a focus on corporate wellness. She began her career in 1989 in Toronto, Ontario, with TriFit, a Canadian industry leader in corporate wellness. While raising her $3 in the 90s and early 2000s, Kristen maintained her certifications in the fitness industry and also launched a successful international company. Today, Kristen enjoys her role with St. Vincent Anderson and the employers in the area. And before I make this next statement, when I meet with Kristen on a monthly basis, she always fills me in, not only what she's doing with our employers here in the community, but what she also does off the clock, not only with her family, but for recreation herself. And she wears me out, because I think just trying to do one little thing that she does, I'd probably be dead on the floor somewhere. But in addition to promoting a healthy lifestyle, she also participates. In this next statement, you understand why I said what I just did. She is currently training for her 6th half Ironman and 2nd full distance Ironman in November. So I'd like to have Kristen come on up here. Kristen.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me here this morning. As Mike said, I am training for a full distance Ironman, which will be in November. And to start off, I want to share a little story that happened to me earlier this week. When you look at Ironman training, it becomes a job. So by, I would say, late September, early October, I'll be spending about 25 hours a week devoted to my training. So the whole process of training, it's about a year-long process, but the actual focus for a full Ironman is about a 24-week process, and I'm just completing my 2nd week of training. So Tuesday morning, I get up at 4:30, look at the weather radar, which that's something we always do, and was very excited to see, yes, we're gonna have a sunny day. So I could get up, no rain, I could go right outdoors. And it's quite involved to get ready for a ride, fill my water bottles, get on my gear, and I head out to the garage, pull my bike off my bike rack, and I have a flat. Try pumping it up, trying to fill it with air, won't take air. I'm looking at it, figuring out what went wrong, and I realized I had a blowout in the sidewall of my tire. Take all my equipment, go back inside, hop on my trainer, and I look down and I realize I've wasted 15 minutes of time. Frustrating. And then I'm sure you're thinking, why is this relevant? Well, let's think about this. Think of this as my job, and my bike as my equipment, and also my body as part of my equipment. On Saturday, ironically, I was told, look at your front tire, you got some bald spots. Monday on your day off, we really need to go buy some new tires and tubes and get them on your bike. I didn't take care of my preventative care and maintenance, and my bike failed me. So what happened was I lost productivity. And I didn't just lose the 20% of my time, so 15 minutes of a 75-minute ride, that equates to 20%. My motivation was terrible. My attitude wasn't great, and I didn't enjoy what I was doing. And when it comes to triathletes, we measure everything. We measure heart rate. My heart rate on average was 10 beats higher than it normally is when I train. We measure wattage, that's power output, how hard you're working. So we have a goal that we try and maintain. I couldn't maintain that power no matter what. And then we also measure cadence, so that's how fast your pedals are going. So on average, I maintain about a 90 RPM. I could barely get 80. I was struggling to hit 78, 79. So the impact of my attitude, my preventative care, all affected my performance. I did not do a good job. So think about how what you do, your preventative care, your maintenance on everything you do, how it affects the productivity you have throughout your day, as well as your health. So in our personal lives, we all have cars, homes, various objects that we have maintenance. We get our oil changed in our cars. We do different things to make sure things are running smoothly because we rely on them. So how many of us actually apply the same type of care and concern to our healths? And if you're a business owner or you're a manager, HR manager, how many of you actually think about your employees' health and lives as an asset to your business? And do you devote time and concern and expense to the maintenance of your employees as well? So this is something that really can impact the overall bottom line of your business. And it's something that we have to recognize that our employees are something that will keep our business moving forward. Just as well as having care and maintenance on my bike, it kept my bike moving forward. If I don't care and maintain myself, doesn't matter how great my bike is, if I'm not doing well, my bike's not going to move. So Gary Becker is an economist and a Nobel laureate from the University of Chicago. And he began using the term human capital as it relates to the workforce and how various aspects of a human can contribute to the economic growth of a company through productivity. Although this concept was developed in 1964, human resource managers recognize that health is one of the most important aspects when it comes to human capital. And there's a very strong correlation between employee health and lost time work and productivity. And it also affects not only your time at work, but your time outside of work. Our health can affect our mental acuity, how sharp we are. It could affect our attitude, our energy level, and it also impacts our yearly output, sick days, as well as the longevity in your career. So there have been multiple studies done, and employers will value health at a very high level. If they average, in studies they've shown between 85 and 90% of employers consider health as one of the key components that affect the bottom line of their business. A study was done in 2010 by the SIOP, which is the Society for Industrial and Organization Psychology. Through their study, they realized that on average, the United States spends $74 billion, that's $74 billion with a B, dollars on sick days. So when it comes to absences, we spend $74 billion for people to not even show up to work. So that study was actually followed up by a study done by the Global Corporate Challenge. And has anyone heard of the Workplace Health and Productivity Questionnaire? Okay, you've heard of it. We've had one. So it's actually, it was created by the World Health Organization. It is available online, and it's something I would encourage you to look at. So they actually gave this to 2,000 employees. The employees were very honest because it was actually offered by an outside organization, and they discovered on average each employee takes about 4 days of sick pay. Well, we know that equates to $74 billion, which is a big number. But what they were shocked at, these 2,000 employees admitted, they confessed that during their workday, over an annual basis, they are not productive. They waste 57.4 days of work annually. So when they come to work, they just don't really do their job. So that equates to just under 3 months that on average we're paying employees, or you are an employee that's contributing to that, where you're not doing the work that you're paid for. So what they've realized is we lose about 10 times more money in presenteeism, which is having an employee at work, but they're not actually doing their job. We spend 10 times more on that than we do on actual sick pay. So what this demonstrates is how important it is, and there is a need for employers and for persons to actually realize the importance of their mental health, their physical health, because it's going to lead to improved energy, creativity, resilience, as well as the productivity. And if it's a company offering these type of programs, it actually helps with loyalty. And not only does it help with loyalty, as we know, Madison County is growing. We're seeing more and more employers, coming to our area. If you want to maintain the employees that you have, you want to develop a sense of loyalty, but you also want to have something that invites other people to come. So this is also where leadership's going to play a very important role. Whether you're the CEO, the owner, HR manager, or a manager or supervisor, pay attention to your employees. Pay attention to their attitudes. Body language is going to be a big factor that helps with that. Also listen to gossip. We know the attitude of one worker will impact their own productivity, but it can also impact the productivity of those that work around them. So I know everybody has paper and pens. So if you would take a piece of paper, flip a piece of paper over, and think about 1, 2, or 3 things that you know will waste time during your day. And if you need some help, think about your cell phone. I'll get you started on that one. Looks like everyone's about finished. So it happens to everyone, doesn't it? And it's pretty easy to let it happen. So what are some things that you found? What are some, who'd like to volunteer something that wastes their time and it impacts what they do while they're at work? Pardon me? Chit-chatting to people. So if you find chit-chatting is something that you lose time with, what is something you can do to change that? Right. Okay. How many of you wrote down social media? It is amazing how much time we lose on social media. The other impact is that we don't realize is social media can affect your attitude and your mood. Some people will see things maybe they discover on social media, somebody they know, they have a family member that's sick. Or they may realize a family member of a close friend or neighbor passed away. These are the type of things that can actually affect your attitude and productivity during the day. So I challenge you to delete your social media, your Facebook page or Instagram, Twitter account, Whatever you have, delete it off your mobile device. Don't use it. Don't use it while you're at work. Put it on your devices at home, whether it's an iPad, your computer. Keep it at home, keep it away from your work. You'll find you are so much more productive. You're not looking for that instant feedback. There's an abundance of evidence surrounding the, I see people laughing. They're thinking, I'm not doing that. There's an abundance of evidence surrounding the impact of a wellness program on a business, as well as taking care of our own personal health and how it affects our daily lives. There are so many clinics that are popping up, wellness companies, and even our insurance brokers are now offering wellness programs that employers can utilize to their employee base. It is to the point that the studies are now showing that, actually the American Journal of Health Promotion conducted studies, and they now find there's a return on investment of $5.81 for every dollar invested in a wellness program. As Nick pointed out, that's actually a better return than the stock market. It's a lot of money. So as an employer or as a person really seeking your own personal health, you know, what's important? Well, when we look at the United States, 1 in 4 of our people in our workforce, 1 in 4 employees are baby boomers. So those are people between the ages of 45 and 64, which if we look through the room, we're probably even better than that. In Madison County, the average age is between 40 and 42, the average age of the workforce. 75% of these people are going to plan on working well past the age of 65, and there are various reasons for doing so. A lot of them is just saving for retirement. They are unable to actually retire due to financial reasons. But of this group of people, 75% of these people already have at least one chronic illness. So of these chronic illnesses, diabetes makes up 1/3 of all medical claims. And diabetes is easily managed. So as a Madison County employer or community member, what can you do to make a change? What can you do to make an impact on your health, your coworkers, or your employees? Well, first of all, leadership. Leadership's going to play an important role. Leadership has to buy in that wellness is actually important. And you also need to take steps to make and implement these changes into your own life. You know, my concept is Rome was not built in a day. So that doesn't mean you need to go over to the mall and buy jogging shoes and a Nike Run t-shirt and go out and start training for a marathon. A simple change a day, such as getting more water, can do a lot to make some very healthy changes in your life. But it's showing that you're actually making an effort can have a big impact on your employee base. Also incorporating health and wellness into your mission of your organization is going to do a lot to help promote long-term success and involvement with your employees. And also you're going to have to create a budget. It's difficult to have a program if there's no money to support it. But remember, there's a $5.81 return on investment. So whatever money you set aside for that, that's going to come back. Same holds true if you were doing something for your own personal health. Set aside a fitness budget or a wellness plan, whether it's your HSA, anything like that. That is going to be money that comes back and actually is helpful. So when you're starting a program, if it's an employee base, send out a questionnaire. I mean, how many people have tried to start something, they just take off their own idea and there's no participation because it was only their idea? Happens more often than what we think. Send out a questionnaire. Find out, first of all, what are their concerns? You know, are there actually any health concerns that people have? And where are their interests? Just because it's a health concern doesn't mean they're interested in addressing it. Questions should also surround their career, their job, emotional, financial, physical, and social well-being. And then find out if there's anybody on your staff or your employee base that's actually willing to be a part of a committee that's going to help with the wellness goals. And also consider involving family. So when you think about how much time is spent at work, you can do great things at work, but if this doesn't translate and carry over into the home, everything you did at work probably doesn't matter because the family is going to play a larger role in influencing the employee than actually work does. It's very important that employees buy into the program and they have a say, otherwise they're not going to receive the benefit or value it. As an employer and as a member of Madison County, we know how big of a role tobacco is a costly health habit. You see it a lot. So as an employer, our thing is, you know what, let's do a smoking cessation program. But if people aren't willing to quit smoking, it doesn't matter if you have a tobacco cessation program. So this statement, if you build it, they will come, does not hold true in this case at all. So you send out a questionnaire and you discover that, yeah, we have a lot of smokers, but you know what, they're really interested in a fitness challenge. Have the fitness challenge. Have your committee develop a fitness challenge. Get the participation, get people excited. Secondarily, and behind the scenes, you can start implementing policy changes. Move the smoking area, take it further away from the building. What used to be undercovered, move it out so it's no longer covered, so it's not quite as inviting to smoke outdoors when there's weather like there is today. People are going to choose not to smoke rather than go outside. Interestingly enough, in 2015, half of all the fitness devices, the wearable, the Fitbits, all those are purchased by employers for their employee base. In 2018, they've identified that approximately 13 million wearable devices will be purchased and implemented in corporate wellness programs throughout the United States. It's a big number. People enjoy them, and they actually get instant feedback. Here at St. Vincent, we implemented a fitness program, and it's a small program to start with, but we've had great participation. But if you ask the participants initially why they started coming to the class, they each had their own individual health reasons. Whether it was weight loss, whether it was because their doctor told them you need to do something to get your values in line, everybody had their own reason. As the program progressed, the reasons changed. Initially, it was for health reasons, but secondarily, they found their energy levels were far improved. They developed friendships. They had camaraderie. So if you ask them now why they come to the class, they're still going to have their initial health reasons, but their reasons are very different why they come to the class. It's fun. So you want to utilize the people that are engaged and looking to be healthy and taking healthy steps. You want to use them to help promote any type of program you have. Leadership. It's going to be up to you to promote your program. Whether it's your family or whether it's your employee base, it's the leader's job to promote and buy into it. So signage is great. Having things in the cafeteria if you have a cafeteria. Having signage near an elevator, encourage them to take the stairs. Where they punch in and out, have signage for any type of promotion that you're offering as far as wellness. Having a health fair, kicking it off, those can be a great way to really get people excited about what's coming up, but make sure you get their input as to what you're testing or what you're promoting. Recently, I was speaking with an employer, and any companies with DOT drivers in here? All right. The DOT industry, the DOT is making some changes. They're talking about making it more difficult for CDL drivers to get their physical to reduce accidents. And so they're talking about how weight can affect and neck circumference, and it's actually has some CDL drivers very concerned because this is their livelihood. If they can't pass the test, they can't work. So there's a group of employees that have taken it on their own that we're going to make some healthy changes. So they started on their own, making their own little weight loss program. So it's 2 or 3 employees. Well, this has been going on for about 2 months. Amazingly, their weight's gone down, their body shapes have changed, but most importantly, other drivers and their managers have noticed that their attitude is better and their energy levels are higher, and they're getting more done and they're getting their routes done faster than the other employees. It's actually grabbed the attention of coworkers. So the coworkers are now going to them and saying, what are you doing? How can I do this? I want to do the same thing too. And it's become a positive influence. And so now the managers have come to me and said, hey, what can we do to promote the same type of attitude and program to other drivers so we can get this whole thing rolling? So really it can impact, just as the negative people who are wasting time, the people who are making healthy changes can have the same type of positive impact on your employee base and the wellness overall. It's also important to be consistent with the message, whether it's your family or whether it's your coworkers or it's your employees. The message of wellness is very important to be consistent. So in a typical meeting, think about the type of food you have. And by the way, I was asked to tell you, bacon is considered a healthy fat. It's okay. I like bacon. But the food that's served is important. So a typical lunch meeting may have something like sandwiches, chips, and a cookie. Pretty typical, right? Consider offering nuts, salads with meat, and fresh fruit and vegetables with dip. The outcome that you'll find is the attention is far better. People are going to pay attention. They're going to be awake. If you have sugar, shortly after you ate, your blood sugar drops and people are ready to take a nap. If you give them healthy food, you're actually feeding their body. They're going to be more attentive. Rather than birthday cakes, have fresh fruit delivered to the company. That may not work with a family, but it will in a business environment. Utilize signage. You know, as a leader, use the stairs rather than the elevator. You know, at home, encourage your kids or your family members to go with you to take a walk when you walk your pet, or just go out for a walk yourself. For people who sit for long periods of time, taking a micro break. Anybody use micro breaks? Micro breaks are fantastic. A micro break is about 90 seconds where you stop what you're doing. It's effective if you're sitting at a computer. It's also effective if you're on a production line. A study was actually done where they surveyed 67 surgeons, and this was in Boston. They had 67 surgeons who performed 400 surgeries in 4 different surgical office and surgery centers. So what they found was if they took every 40 minutes, they took a 90-second micro break, they found several factors. They actually felt they performed better surgery. They paid better attention. They actually completed the surgery faster, even though they were taking 90-second breaks, so the patient was under anesthesia less time. And then following the surgeries, they found that they felt better and they didn't have sustained chronic pain. Think of that, that's your surgeon. I'm going to make sure if I ever have to go under surgery again, I'm going to ask the surgeon to please take micro breaks. So what I'd like everybody to do is we're going to take a micro break. So stand up. And just start with rolling your shoulders to the back. If you're sitting at a computer, opening your shoulders and your chest cavity is going to help. And just relax your shoulders, drop your chin to your chest. And bring your head up, look over to your right shoulder. You should feel a stretch in your neck. That should feel really good. And turn your head the other side. And bring it back to the front. Go ahead, take your hands, interlock, press your hands to the front so your palms are facing out, and round your shoulders. All right, and relax. Take one hand, point your fingertips to the floor, and gently pull. If you feel any pain, make sure you don't do it. And pull back the other way so your fingertips are coming towards your shoulders. You should feel a nice stretch in your forearm. And switch sides. I feel like I'm leading class, right, Marlene? And then pull it back the other way. Okay, and then with your feet about shoulders width apart, go ahead and raise your heels and lower. All right, and then alternate lifting your toes, especially if you're wearing heels. So lift your toes up off the ground. You don't want any accidents. Okay, and go ahead and have a seat. Now think about, if any of you before were not engaged, are you listening now? So the same concept holds true. Although you are taking a break, you're actually re-engaging attention. It's a great thing, especially for people who are on production line where they're doing the same thing over and over again. Or if you're at home and you're doing the same chore over and over and over again, take a break. It will actually get you re-energized. When it comes to health, fitness, wellness, be creative, whether it's in your own personal life or if it's for your employee base. Utilize your fitness committee to really get that going. One employer with whom I worked had a section of unused warehouse space. They were having some employee, not problems, but there was a lack of motivation. So somebody came up with this idea, and it was an employee to have a dodgeball tournament. So it ended up, which I know dodgeballs in school are no longer allowed, but this is a different situation. We're adults. So they ended up having, on occasion, a dodgeball tournament. So it was always management against a department. So no department ever knew which one was going to get to do the tournament. But they would have these tournaments, and they didn't last long. They were about 20 minutes. But what happened was, number one, they were active. They were moving. Number two, it actually put the department, the employees, on the same level playing field as the management. It gave them an opportunity to feel they had some power. And what happened was, it ended up creating excitement. People were excited to come to work. These departments that may not have been operating well together were actually practicing after work their dodgeball and throwing skills because they lost to management and they wanted to make sure when they played them again, they didn't lose. So simple things like that can do a lot to actually re-engage people and get them excited. So encouraging physical activity within your setting is important, but it's also important to encourage it outside of the workplace. It can be done by sponsoring a sports team, and I know a lot of businesses will sponsor Little Leagues team, but don't forget we also have a lot of adult softball leagues, golf leagues, different things like that that you can support your employees. And then also getting your team together. If you know you have a group of employees that are into running or they're doing mud runs or different things like that, sponsor a team. Get them to wear your t-shirts. It's great promotion. But it also makes them feel like you're investing in them. And if you find out there's some type of event that holds the same type of sponsorship, so if your company is big into cancer research, and you find that there's a run or an event or a golf outing that is also supporting cancer research, get people involved. It's a great way to make that cohesive and show people that you really are investing not only in their health, but you're investing into the cause that you say you believe in. Finally, once you implement a program, evaluate it. Make sure it's doing what you think it's doing. People like it. Not only are they participating, but they see the benefit. And then ask them for their input. What did you like? What would you like to change? Is there anything you'd like to add? And if somebody is really vocal, have them become a part of that fitness team, the committee, because they'll do a great job at promoting. If they're a negative, they're going to be just as great at promoting. A great example of this is there was a company and they were implementing a wellness program, and there were people who were not very excited about it. They felt like it was almost too much information. So what ended up happening was I said, well, this is going to affect your premiums. So the person who was the most vocal about not wanting to do it was the first one to buy a treadmill at home. He was the first one to bring in healthy energy bites that he found a recipe online. He ended up losing about 40 pounds in the year. At the end of the year, they were reevaluating premiums, and the premiums as a whole had actually gone down. But the percentage of what people had to pay out was based on their participation in the wellness program. Well, one employee who initially was all gung-ho about the program didn't participate, and where he used to have his insurance covered 100%, he now had to pay 50% of his premium. Obviously, he was not happy. However, initially he was gung-ho. Afterwards, he was complaining about it. Well, on the reverse, the person who was complaining about it initially, but went and bought his treadmill and saw that there really was value, he stood up and said, you know what, you had as much opportunity as everyone else in this company to participate, yet you chose not to. Why should I pay for health benefits? Why should I pay for premiums when I'm getting healthier and you're not? So it really made a big impact, and his attitude changed, and he stopped bad-mouthing the program. This year, he's very actively participating in the program, and he has actually made some healthy changes. So, the other aspect is, do you offer incentives or not? That's completely, up to you. Studies do show with incentives, if you do a health risk assessment, that's where you do biometric screening, you get cholesterol, blood pressure, things like that. If you offer an incentive, you'll see about a 50% participation. If it's more lifestyle and disease where, you're teaching about blood pressure, diabetes care, things like that, with an incentive, you'll see about 26% participation. If you don't offer an incentive, there'll be about 14% participation. So if the incentives are available, it's definitely worth it to offer those, because you will see the benefit. The challenge is initially you want to offer incentives. It's an external motivation, but once they see the care, just like in our fitness program, once they see improvements, they will become internally motivated because they find the benefit is other than just losing weight or getting their chronic illness under control. They'll find that they have more energy, not only to perform their job duties and be more productive, but they'll also find they have more energy to enjoy their family life outside of work. So adopting a wellness program can be a great thing for your bottom line. It can also be a great thing to introduce into your family. If you do it with the input, whether it's your family members or your employees, you'll find that presenteeism improves, people are more productive, there are less absences, attitude is better. If it's a work-related, there's less injuries, and if there are injuries, they're less severe. But overall, you'll see an improvement in your bottom line, whether it's your family or whether it's your employee base. So at this time, does anybody have any questions? No? All right, well, thank you so much, and make sure you check your tires. It's a long ride.
Guess I'm going to have to find a different mode than letting the air out of my tires, so. It is almost time for the business announcements, but before we progress to those, I'd like to ask to the microphone a gentleman who has a special announcement or a special message for you. Wayne Bruzzese from Star Bullets. Did I say it right? Okay, all right. Wayne.
First, thank you all for that have participated in our Vote for Your Charity campaign that we did over the last couple months. All of the charities that are on the list are winners and do great things in our community, but there are two that rose to the top and actually received over 50% of all of the votes. And I'd like to recognize them and present with them Rob Spalding with the Christian Center and Andrea Baker with Operation Love, if you'll come forward. What our company chose to donate is we are giving a lot of banners and also some cash. So for Operation Love, who is actually the runner-up, we're donating $500 in banners to them today. And when Rob and I talked yesterday, he's also on the board of Operation Love, but he's the director of the Christian Center, and we're giving them $1,000 of banners and also giving them a check for $610. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. All right, time for the business announcements. So we will call up our microphone mistress, Jill O'Malia of Great Deals Magazine, and Carlene Gunter of the Madison County Chamber, who's going to be our gongstress this morning. If you have an announcement, you probably were able to pay your $5 at the door as you came in. If you didn't have the opportunity to do that, you can do that as you come up. But if your organization or business has something that you want everyone to know about, please form a line at the microphone beside Jill, and you'll have the opportunity to give a 30-second announcement. Once that 30-second point arrives, you will hear Carlene go right on cue. And then you'll be forever embarrassed, but you can still finish your announcement. So, if you will, time for business announcements. And like I said, if you haven't done so already, you can give that $5. And the monies will then go toward a charitable cause, which we'll announce in a little bit as well. So if you were hesitant about that $5 entry fee, don't be.
Hi, Bob.
Good morning, I'm Bob Andrews. I'm a volunteer with SCORE. SCORE is a resource partner of the SBA, and in Madison County we have 17 volunteers. In Delaware County we have about 5. But across the country, SCORE has 10,000 plus volunteers in 300 chapters, and they do all the same thing. We give back to our community. We're people who have owned businesses, bought businesses, sold businesses, managed businesses, and we're volunteering our assistance in the community. If you are a small business that wants some help, whether you're a startup or you have been in business for a long time, go to www.score.org and ask for help, and we would be delighted to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. You do wonderful work. Come on up. Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the Chamber for the time here. I represent Skyline Exhibits in Indianapolis. We help the world trade by creating exhibits for trade shows. We have a nationwide network that offers creation of exhibits, turnkey services where we can store your exhibits no matter what show you go to nationwide. And if you have time, come see us down in Indy, and you can find us at skyline.com. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Come on down. How are you? Thank you.
My name is Jason Beamer, and I have the pleasure of working for Sonatrol Services. We're a security company here in Anderson. One note that I wanted to make sure, Sonatrol is the corporation is based out of Anderson, so it originated in this town and doesn't get enough recognition for that. But we'd be very interested in getting an opportunity to work with you to evaluate your business services and see what we could do to help protect you and your investments. And we do appreciate the time here at the Chamber. And I want to thank everybody here this morning. And give me a call. I got calm.
You were just dying to do that. She really enjoyed it. Thank you for letting her do that. Hi, Marlene.
We have a lot of wonderful things going on at St. Vincent Anderson. I'm happy to tell you about a few of them this morning. We have a new pulmonary rehab unit, completely remodeled. We moved it up to be adjacent to our lobby so it's more convenient for our pulmonary rehab patients. Also, for improved access for all of you, we have several ways to do that. You can now schedule an appointment with a physician online, whether you are an existing patient of that physician or not. And then we also have a new service that we've implemented in our emergency department. You can schedule an ER visit, so you can wait for your ER visit at home instead of in our waiting room. And we also have St. Vincent On Demand, where you can have a virtual visit with a physician from wherever you are 24/7. You can access all of these at getstvincentcare.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrea, hello again.
Hello, I'm Andrea Baker from Operation Love Ministries. Operation Love helps families that are just above the poverty line or are struggling so that they can maintain their residences, make sure that they pay those bills, and avoid the cycle of poverty and spiral into foreclosure in those situations. If you know individuals who are struggling and they think that they're not qualified for services or they've never used services before, please let them know we are here for them, and they can just give our office a call. We can help them sit down and do a financial coaching session so that we can look into their finances, hopefully balance their budget.
Thank you.
I hate to do that.
Thanks, everyone.
Any announcements, Jill?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. And this morning, the recipient of the monies from that, and Carlene, don't run off, I'm going to seek your assistance there. The recipient from the monies gathered for the announcements this morning will be Secret Families of Madison County, and I believe Gary Brossard is here to accept the gift. He is indeed. I knew I saw you earlier. And I think Patty or Jill have that. Gary, thank you very much. Secret Families of Madison County, making sure that a lot of children who otherwise wouldn't will have a very memorable Christmas, had they not otherwise.